My name is John Teply, and today I am talking with the artist Evan Daley, who is in New Orleans right now.
Yes, I'm right here in French Quarter.
So anybody who's seen his paintings know that he has a very different way of approaching the work. You see a painting that's well observed, and there's like this broad kind of feeling about it, broad brushstrokes. But if you look at it closely, there's always something else in there that you don't quite see from 3 feet away. And some of his work, it even helps to have a magnifying glass, because you get all of what he's looking at. I mean, it's crazy.
With the Shady Grove piece.
Yes. Well, no.
The Shady Grove, you can pinpoint. You can put in little key items. You can put in a piano here. You can put in a tomato, a little tomato bush here. You can put in a gardener here holding, a water basket that's colored these ways. So it's like you can kind of decipher your own reality.
Well, it was also the painting you did for the Feelings Festival. Like you stand back and you look at it. And then it looks like, oh, there's like a squashed bug on it or something. And you look, and it's a freaking canoe that's about this big, in the water, and then you look and there's a smudge, but no, it's not a smudge. You look and it's a well-painted campfire that's about that big, but that's what's really interesting about it is there are different levels, and there's something kind of surreal about it, because you stand back. If you're standing back from 5 feet, you don't see all of the painting. You have to go in close, and there's something remarkable about that.
Precisely, yeah.
So why?
Literally,
tell me why.
No, but I mean, on this new painting, like you said, it's conveying detail and messages. I'm working on a piece now of a binary star system outside of Milky Way. That's just in my imagination. So, but I put a little teeny African American woman astronaut. I put a little. So after I finished the entire painting, I was like, I was looking at it and I was like, what can convey a little more detail or a little more character,
Yeah.
A little more character. And that my art teacher, Dave Miner, would do that. My first art teacher, Dave Miner, he would put little subtleties, he would put little fish in the rocks, whether it's a petroglyph or your imagination, there's these little culture touches, and there's these little touches that make you feel like connected to it, in a way.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do it's hard to do in my mid-20s, but I'm able to do it. But I know from learning from someone who's 70, 80, 70 years old, he was able to pinpoint and use exact cultural recognition and marks, and he's just the knowledge, it's fascinating.
So you're describing like these bits that are easy to look over as cultural.
Yes, like my art teacher Dave, he grew up in Montana, and he would visit with native tribes, and he was able to like spend time on their river heritage, on their span of the river, and he did a lot of those paintings. And it's kind of like that's kind of brushed off on me, is like try to get out there to places, maybe try to get out there to places that will connect us back to the land, connect us back to those ancient those ancient places.
So then by that, like the ultra detail work, that generally relates to connecting to something specific that you're thinking about?
Yes. Like with working with Joe Siemens on the culture, you know, on the one we did of the native, the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Feelings,
the poets,
Feelings
and
Festival.
the musicians, the Feelings Festival. That's right. It's over a year ago. I got to jog my memory. But, you know, working with all those different artists and all those different mediums and genres is like, it's crazy because they're using the same story and culture in the group, but they all have their own individual emotions. And like we were talking about, the details, you know, the little details, their little details are so much different, you know, from, you know, the choreographed dancer, you know, who was like pulling out her intestines, you know, like, she's throwing in little details with her body emotions, you know, which is just like me throwing in like a little boat or a little wave that crashes over, you know. It's
what,
just
let me just explain something here. What Evan's talking about is the Feelings Festival that he was part of, in which we had 5 poets and 5 singers, and each of them had an emotion. And from the poems and the songs, we had 10 artists who did paintings. And then we had
it's too many for me to even keep track of how many people were involved.
And then we had the 5 poems, 5 songs, 10 paintings, and 10 emotions that was interpreted by 5 dancers and 5 one-act plays. Whew! But it was a crazy event, and the one that Evan did. So the song, so the feelings that he had was wrath, and the song was about wrath, and from what I understand, Siemens, you asked him, well, what's a good subject to paint, and he said, what did he say to it?
And our play was the play. Remember the put on by the gentleman James. But that play was very long, and I didn't know what to expect, but it completely caught me off guard. It caught me from surprise. You know, like, it was just well done. You know, satire, like raw, dry humor, but twisted, like reverse psychology positivity, you know, just like very, very in-depth wrath, you know, but that's the same thing, you know, just, it's cool to convey emotions for
so when reason. when you have a blank canvas, you know, you're looking at it, what are some of your first thoughts as you're deciding what to paint?
Well, there's a first, and then there's many after that before I would even think about starting a piece, you know. For a while growing up, I didn't even start pieces because I didn't have enough thoughts gathered, you know, because you have to have like this whole experience, you know. Here's some marching bands coming by right now.
Well, let's see what we get the interview before it's totally destroyed.
Yeah. Going to the Mardi Gras.
So your first thought. So as a younger artist, it's a different approach than what you're doing now. It's not as impulsive.
Exactly.
At one time it was more impulsive, and now it's more thoughtful.
When I was young, I just had to experiment with colors. You know, I just had to like throw it on the canvas. But when you're older, it's like you have to like think about each. You know, you have to have an experience built up because you have more time put to painting, you know. So like for me to go out and do the Coastal Watchers, I bet for all those artists, for all of us artists, you know, among the Coastal Watchers piece and that work and that show, you got to think about a lot of those pieces you see are fast. They're vibrant colors. you know, you're getting your sand, you're getting all your color tones, your earth tones, but that's happening fast while you're doing it, but you were processing all of that information before you even showed up, you know, like you were like, you had experiences getting there, you had to do this, I had a sunburn, you know, I had to find a good spot, like all this stuff is like building up your thoughts, like, oh wow, like I saw this chipmunk like jump and eat my food, like what you
put in the painting, which was about this big.
Yeah.
Was, you know.
Yeah, it's like that. Those things happen while you're like interactively going. So it's. I feel like it makes it a more enjoyable experience if you can like convey all those thoughts and emotions into your page somehow. It doesn't have to be clear or, you know.
Yeah, it's curious. Often I will see landscape paintings in which they're sterile. You know, there's no birds, no people, no chipmunks, no puffins. There was a puffin in his painting. And
Katie, my favorite is Katie. Shout out to Katie. Well, her piece, the Depot Bay.
Yes, yes.
I mean, that honestly was like, because we were talking about like, wow, if you can, you know, you're trying to put this emotion in this, like, and she probably has seen whales in her life, but that exact interaction probably didn't happen where she's standing over the bridge and a whale's like, whoa, you know, like coming up. But she was able to make it in a way where it feels like you don't feel in a way like you feel like part of the animal. Like the way she did it is like you're saying, her putting that whale in there, you're like, whoa, you're like, now you're thinking from the whale's perspective as well as the human beings, you know, like what is that whale's like wide eye, you know, like what's it? It's, you know, in a narrow bay, in the most narrow bay in Little Depot Bay in freaking the country. It's like, you know, there's so many emotions.
So now how does that, is art a good vehicle for like activist kind of art?
Yes. If it's used like, I feel like if it's used properly, because I mean, I did a piece of the border wall of the border wall when the whole, you know, border thing was happening, and there was kind of a you know, an interior conflict in the United States, and I was very rageful, like why are we all against each other, you know, about, you know, creating this divide between nations, but like, can't we just talk about it or figure it out, you know, like, and so that piece was kind of about that, like maybe we should like take a second look and think about this and like get back to, you know, Americans, and, you know, like, you know, going through, people have to legally take a test to become immigrants anywhere, you know, to become a legal immigrant anywhere. So it's like that piece was kind of, and I was very mad. I created the border wall, 2 wolves, and, you know, which wolf will we choose? And like, I wanted to use it a little bit. I wanted to use it in a way that probably wouldn't have worked. I wanted to take it and hang it on the border wall. But on second thought, I was like, first of all, I need to get a hold of, you know, someone, you know, send, you know, somewhere down near the border, you know, I would need to get a contract or meet someone, or, you know, a lot of things would need to happen before I could hang that on the wall. So I think for activism, you have to have a education, culture, community, all these things have to be already instilled before you can do activism art, which is why the Coastal Watch is such a cool show, because it has generational, you know, community engagement, you know, and it's those kind of activism paintings are really cool.
So yeah. as an artist, you know, a big part of it, 7 generations is having a solidarity with the future. You know, social equity isn't just about one generation; it's about all generations.
Yes. About like teaching our kin.
So what about that appeals to you?
I mean, just everything, just being able to, give, inspiration and like connection to our land. If the simplest thought for me is, I hope, whether I adopt or have kids or, that realm, I hope that I can convey a simple message, which is love the land that you stand on. Just appreciate, take a moment to appreciate the moment and what you stand on, and actually like think about everything that's happening around you, rather than maybe what other people, want, or what society wants, or what all these propaganda, war machine, all this stuff. Just like the way we can fight it is to connect with ourselves and everything going on around us. And then we'll notice that other people around us are doing that, and it's just, and then that creates a bigger group of people doing that than not, if you inspire more people to do it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Evan. We're winding down now. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that I haven't asked you?
I mean, I know this is a brief little interview, but it was a pleasure, John. And I'm out here in New Orleans, traveling around the country, and I miss the pristine cold. So I'm excited to get back to some pines.
Well, thank you, Evan. And you can see Evan's work. We'll be showing it this July in 2022 at the Lincoln City.
I'll have another one. I'll have another piece.
Cool. Thank you, Evan, and we will keep in touch.
All right.
Bye for
Later,
now.
John.